I never stepped away from that. I explained that, and we were an open book from the beginning of this. But when I submitted this, my commander looked at everything, and he said, yeah, he says, yeah, you're right. And so I told him the video, it looks bad. I said, but when I explained the circumstances surrounding it, what led up to it, what was going on, what was on my mind, after an investigation was conducted, there was no issue with this. My commander signed off justifying my use of force, justifying my actions, and it was sent up the chain. As it was working its way up the chain, all these other circumstances are going on in kind of like a satellite manner in reference to the upper command staff, the administration. You have, the taser things working its way through the pipeline. You have the Mary Hahn case. You have, the heat that the Albuquerque Police Department got over the West Mesa murders that were unsolved and being accused of turning their heads, turning a blind eye to what was going on when things were being reported under suspicious activity concerning certain women, involved that were found out there.
So you think they just threw you overboard as kind of a scapegoat?
Yes. No, I'm 100% sure that, that is exactly what they did. Because the chief, when this video was put forth and it was put up the chain, everybody knew about this. And the way Albuquerque Police Department works, there is they'll get an IA number. So the supervisor will pull an IA number when he has an internal affairs investigation to conduct. And it'll be, say for the year, it'll be I-1-40, it'll be the year and the IA number. So, and then what they'll do is they'll assign that IA to the case, and then investigations conducted. So they had an IA number, and the chiefs advised every Monday. It's called Coffee with the Chief. They have the lieutenant has with the chief, and he briefs him on what comes in that week. And they tell them, hey, there's a video here. This is what happened with this, along with any other incidents that come in that they're going to investigate. So the chief knows about that, and he knew that there was an investigation coming up the pipeline. After it's concluded 3 months later, it's sent up the chain. And then I'm cleared by my commander, and then the chief calls to have me put on administrative leave, and he reassigns my partner onto administrative reassignment. And after that, the investigation, they open up another IA, and subsequently fire me based on that IA. And that's where down the line they get caught lying at another hearing, at my LA board hearing. They get caught. The IA investigator confirms. Actually, he does pretty much a 180 in his testimony and justifies my use of force after he had said it was excessive at an administrative hearing. They came at me and my partner with everything they had. They advised us to take the Fifth Amendment. They advised us not to talk. They advised us not to give statements. If you don't give statements, you lose by default. You get fired. You get fired from the department if you don't give an IA. And as an investigator, if you have something, one investigator doesn't want to talk to his target. If you have your target and
that's very strange. Well, we're almost out of time. Real quickly, what do you guys think as people who have worked on the inside? You've seen the corruption, you've seen the excessive use of force there. What do we do? How do we move on this? What should we do, in your opinion, from somebody who's been on the inside?
I think you have to accept that there are these issues going on, and that only happens when you have full transparency and sunlight on the department. There's not a doubt in my mind that the Albuquerque Police Department will have to be restructured to a point where you wouldn't even recognize it when they're done, and that's what's going to happen with the department. DOJ's report is on force with the department is really but a chapter in a much larger book, and it's those other chapters that this city and this department fought against the DOJ from coming in to keep them from doing their investigation. They treated Officer Doyle as if he had executed somebody on the street illegally, when in fact, he used intermediate force to effect an arrest. Where we're going from here is that, it's inevitable what's going to happen in this department is that it's going to be completely dismantled and restructured and reformed. The question is, how long is that going to take, and how brave and courageous is both the department personnel and the city leaders going to be to affect that change to restore the credibility and legitimacy this department has to have with the community. It's not just Department of State, It's the largest city in the state, and it has it's really a role model for the rest of the state. And really, the longer that process takes, the worse off everyone's going to be. And right now, I haven't seen anything that suggests they're going to be brave or courageous to do what needs to be done.
No, absolutely not. I mean, after the meeting on Monday night, the city council responded and said, we're going to increase security and we're going to come up with new rules to make sure you guys shut up. I mean, they're not even interested in any reform. And you talk about transparency. I mean, I can tell you that if I go down to the airport here and ask them about a policy question, the public information officers will stonewall us. Nobody from the top to the bottom of government anymore wants to even talk to the press, talk to the public. Everything is top secret. It's like they all work for the CIA, and frankly, I think they do, but it's absolutely crazy, the attitude that is pervasive in government, whether it's local government or the federal government anymore.
Alex, it just comes back to being a human being. That's all these people want. You just treat them like a human being. And you think, how would you like to be treated? And, when you move away from, officer safety is an issue, but, public safety is an issue. The public needs to go home. It's the public first, and that's our job. That's what we're to do. And you're right, to retaliate against people for wanting to speak their mind, for wanting to be heard, it's just unacceptable.
It's un-American.
Yeah. Well, we'll be watching that, and thank you so much. I know you told me when we talked pre-interview, Officer Grover, that you got into this because you don't like bullies. That's something we all share, and I hope that you can have a big impact there as a lawyer, working, like you said, on the outside, trying to get something done that you couldn't get done on a system that doesn't want to be changed from the inside.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as he said to me, it's almost as if they're trying to drive the good cops out of the system. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to create an adversarial relationship between the police and the public, getting the police to recognize this as occupied territory. Very dangerous. And we can only hope that there are many more people that are like these two officers that will stand up for what is right. Well, that's it for tonight. Please join us on Monday at 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.